Okay, welcome back. What we're going to do right now is we're going to install Windows 7 using VMware Player. Previously you saw that there's a video using VirtualBox. I just want to provide an alternative perspective, particularly because I use VMware Player instead of, or VMware Workstation Player, whatever they want to call it, instead of VirtualBox. So what I'm going to do is get started, opening up VMware. And it's very similar to creating a workstation inside of VirtualBox. I'm going to create a new virtual machine. Now VMware does have an easy install option where you can just point it at the ISO file. So for example, I have Windows 7 Pro already loaded in here. It detects it. It bypasses a lot of the install options. I'm actually going to tell it to install the operating system later so that we can go through the install process of it. I'm going to click Next. And again, mine is x86, which is also 32-bit. That's what 32-bit is. If yours that you downloaded is x64, then that is 64-bit. If it is 32, then it's just plain Windows 7, which mine is actually the ISO file that I have is plain Windows 7. Click Next. I'm going to put it on my E drive and make a folder. My E drive has much more space, and I'll name my machine. Okay, I'm going to put in a single file for performance reasons. The default settings there. I'm going to go to customize hardware, and I want to talk a little bit about RAM, as I did mention this in the course announcement as well. I believe the assignment instructions instruct you to do 2 gig on the machine itself. I don't know that I agree with that. For those out there that are running only 4 gig of RAM, I wouldn't put 2 gig of RAM up to your machine itself, because you need to have enough RAM to run your operating system. It's the host operating system. So if you're running 4 gig, try between 768 or 1024. So that's 3/4 of a gig to a full gig of RAM. Reason why I give those two options is try either one. Try 768, see how the performance is. Try 1024, see how the performance is, and decide which one you think is better. I know you think more is better, however, and it seems counterintuitive to have lower RAM to make it work better, but it makes a difference because you're providing more to the host operating system. I have 16 gig of RAM. I don't have any RAM issues, so you could do 1536, which is 1.5, or just do the 2 gig, which is 1024. I'm sorry, 1048. Alright, so I'll just do 2 gig on mine. But again, if you're running 4 gig, I don't recommend doing 2 gig within here. I'm going to click close on that. I am going to do one more thing. I'm going to tell the DVD drive to look at now my ISO file when it boots, so that it will boot off of that. I'm also going to have it connect at power on. That's already checked. Make sure that is checked. I'm going to click close, finish, and let's start it. Now because I set the ISO file on the DVD drive, it's going to boot directly from that and start loading Windows. This bypasses the easy install mode, and we'll see the typical install of Windows that we would go through in terms of selecting like the keyboard and the country and whether or not you're going to do an upgrade and all that other stuff. The easy install would actually bypass all of that and take you straight into the login screen. So a couple things about VMware Player. Again, it works very similar. However, if you want another instance of a machine running, I'd have to open up VMware Player again. I don't want to do that. Open up another window. It opens up here, and I'd have to hit play on the next one, as opposed to VirtualBox, which keeps this window open at all times. VMware does also have VMware Tools that installs that allows you to actually copy and paste content from your host machine directly into it. I don't know that VirtualBox didn't used to, it may now. So I'm going to select all these defaults here, install now. If you ever need to go through and change things, you can change things from within Manage Virtual Machine Settings. Sometimes you have to have the actual machine turned off in order to change them. And if so, the options may be grayed out and we'll notify you of that. I'm going to click Accept right here. Click Next. I'm going to do the custom. I'm not doing an upgrade because there's nothing that exists anyways, so I'm just going to allow it to install the 60 gig that I have there. Now this will look familiar to what you're doing in the MOAC lab, and you'll just want to wait this out and then complete this actual, complete the actual hands-on part from your virtual machine that you're creating, again, whether it's on VirtualBox or VMware Player. And beyond that, I think that should be about it. I thought there was one more thing. Oh, I know, I was going to say, make sure, whether you're using VirtualBox or VMware Player, doesn't matter. When you're done with your PC, your workstation, whatever you're working with, your virtual machine, use your start log off to actually shut it down, rather than doing this, hitting the X, and doing power off. Power off is the equivalent of pulling the plug on it, which is something you don't want to do unless you truly have to. Suspend is okay as well. That will put it basically just like hitting pause, and next time you fire it up, it'll allow you to pick up where you left off. I'm not going to run through the rest of the install here because it's just going to go through reboots and we're just going to sit here watching it. But I just wanted to give an example of what VMware Workstation looks like. Again, the link for VMware Workstation is in the course announcement, listed right underneath course announcement number 1. So again, yes, workstations. Use VirtualBox or VMware Player. Here's the link for VMware Player. That will take you there. VirtualBox, I noticed, was not working at the time I actually got this going, but hopefully it's going to act up. All right, that's all I have to run through. Thanks.